to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and welcome to our first real proper The L Word Generation Q Season 2 video. Now I'm going to talk about predictions, thoughts for Season 2, of course the beginning of Season 2. Nothing is really known about the season, and obviously there will be a lot of speculation and things, but there won't be anything concrete, so I wouldn't really put a spoiler warning here, but obviously we're going to talk about everything from Season 1 of Generation Q. So if you haven't seen Season 1 of Generation Q, spoiler warning for the entirety of the season. Now I decided to do this video based on yesterday. I did my first ever live and I was absolutely blown away by the response. I was worried that no one was going to come, and loads of you guys turned up. I was so happy. I really enjoyed it, and I'll talk more about the live schedule going forward at the end of the video, because I know there's some people who are just here for the Generation Q Season 2 stuff. So hang behind at the end. But also make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because coming up there's going to be so much information coming out for Season 2, and even when it's going to start airing, trailers, etc. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and if you're subscribed, like and comment on this video or any L Word video, and you'll be entered into a draw to win Generation Q Season 1 on DVD. Or if it isn't available in your area, or you already have it, or you don't want the DVD, a shirt, an Alice mug, anything from the Showtime L Word Generation Q store. So basically what I'm going to do is go through each of our main characters, say where we left them at the end of this season so it's fresh in everyone's mind. I've just watched the whole season again. Probably, I think this is about the fourth time I've watched it. Give a little summary of where they are, and then carry on with the predictions, thoughts, etc. for where we're going to go. But before we get started on that, the one thing that a lot of people have been asking, and of course we don't have anything absolutely solid from Showtime on this, is when is Season 2 going to start airing? I did go over this at the beginning and the end of the live yesterday, but for the benefit of anyone that wasn't there, basically we had Pants air on Wednesday, and I'll drop the audio clip again right here just in case anyone's missed it.
Everybody else in the world, and thank you,
Listen, I'm gonna see you soon on set because we are going back to work. It's official.
Let's be honest. I'll see you before then, but I look forward to seeing you on set.
Yeah, we start in like 3 weeks. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm really excited.
Me
Isn't
too.
it gonna be fun to get back to work?
It'll be nice to have purpose, to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I think my dog is going to be completely confused and dismayed.
Shocked.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to get it, but she'll figure it out.
You gotta pay for the dog food somehow.
Hey, look, you gotta hustle.
All right, I'll see you before.
All right, great.
But I love you, and you don't irritate me at all.
So as you heard there with Leisha and Kate, they said we're going back to filming in 3 weeks. Now generally they shoot the podcasts at least a week or two in advance, and when I first heard it, my thinking was that they were going to start on the 30th after Thanksgiving. Now I really think that's when they're actually going to start shooting again, and we've got some more kind of confirmation of that, because one, next week is Thanksgiving, so we know nothing's happening next week. But also Arnie, who plays Danny, is in California now, and she posted on Wednesday on her Instagram about getting her hair done, and it was, you know, obviously for the show. And then yesterday she also posted to her Instagram stories basically somewhere on the set that had just a little white paper with Danny written in like black font taped to something. So it was either her trailer, or I think it was most likely her wardrobe, or their chair at the table read. Now normally table reads is the main cast all go to the table read, the writer, director, everyone, but because of the situation with COVID, they most likely are doing table reads online, so it probably is her wardrobe. And then we also got a little bit even more confirmation. The hair has been giving it away for everyone. In Jacqueline Tobani, who plays Finley, has also gone back to her blonde short hairdo. So this week will have been pre-production, everybody being fitted for wardrobe, hair, all these things, scripts, everything like that will be taken care of. Thanksgiving next week, and then Monday the 30th. Now everybody might not start on the same day, because even last time they had different staggered starts, and this was before COVID. Like Leo Shag started a little bit later than everyone else. So most likely day one next week, Monday the 30th, probably the OGs, because they're in the most, and probably like Danny, Finley and Sophie will all be there, or maybe even a few of them will start on the Tuesday the 1st. But Monday the 30th is when we are really going to get production started. Now, because of all this, a lot of people said to me, well, Thanksgiving is next week, right? So they're doing pre-production, having a few days off, then starting for basically 3 weeks, not even probably the full 3 weeks. And then they're going to go on Christmas break, and then they're going to go back to filming. Why are they doing this? Why aren't they just doing all the pre-production stuff in December and then starting, the 3rd of January or something? Now, this is completely my own speculation. I mean, there's no way I have any confirmation of that. This is just what I think. So my opinion is that those 3 weeks are instrumental somehow to do with what Showtime has said about when the show is going to air. So the original L Word used to always air March, April, May, and we'd have the season finale in May. And last year, obviously everyone knows Generation Q aired in December and January, but there was only 8 episodes. Now, Showtime could save the L Word for June, for Pride. They could save the L Word for August, September. We don't know, but generally with Showtime shows, they like to shoot the whole season before they start airing, but they never leave, like HBO, an insane massive gap. So last year, the L Word wrap party, so everything was done, dusted, all the filming was complete. That wrap party was the 16th of November, and then they started airing the show on the 8th of December. So there wasn't even a month in between them finishing and then them starting the show. So if these 3 weeks are necessary, because again, they have 10 episodes to shoot this time as opposed to the 8, so they could start showing the show in April. I think that would be a major big stretch, because again, they do have 10 episodes to film. Last year, with the 8 episodes, it took about 18 weeks to shoot the entire season. Now this time, with the extra 2 episodes, it'll probably take 22, 23 weeks, maybe 24 at the most. So I think the possible earliest realistically we could be looking at is getting the show in May. And then there is also the possibility of it lining up nicely with, and also them saying, hey, why don't we do it for Pride? So then putting the show in June. The only thing that I think puts that down a bit is the fact that summer, they generally don't put out their most popular shows or loads of new episodes, because it's summer and people aren't really inside watching TV shows, like, all the big shows, Grey's Anatomy and all those shows, like, none of them have new episodes over the summer because everybody takes a hiatus. It's just not the right time. So if they were in that point and then they thought, it's been a really long time, the show's been off, we need to get it out, we need to get money in, they could really be pushing these 3 weeks and them to get started so they can air the show in April. I think I'm gonna hedge my bets here, because my heart is saying April because I really want the show to come back sooner, but realistically I think it's much more likely to be later than that. And because I'm thinking Showtime aren't going to risk putting it out in summer, we could be looking more at a September premiere for the show. But fingers crossed we get it earlier, because then why would they be rushing back to do these 3 weeks before going on the Christmas break? That's what I'm holding on to as my hope anyway. So now that I've tried to put mathematical logic into why I want the L Word to air earlier, let's talk about where we are with each character and predictions, thoughts, opinions on what's going to happen in season 2. So starting off with the newbies, obviously we left on a cliffhanger with Finley and Sophie having done Alice's last show, and Alice's show is kind of in limbo. They don't know whether it's coming back. Sophie has gone to the airport to either meet Danny or Finley. Finley is going home for her sister's wedding to Missouri, and Danny is going to Honolulu. I know who I'd be with. To take Sophie, Danny thinks anyway, to get married in Honolulu after Bette has lost the election and Danny has kind of lost her job too. So really Finley, Sophie, Bette, Alice and Danny could all be out of a job, because we don't know whether Alice's show is coming back, and Bette has obviously lost the election and Danny's working for her, so nobody's careers are looking too bright right now. So what do I think is going to happen with Sophie, Finley and Danny? I mean, the show could come back and pick up immediately from that scene where Sophie's in the airport and we see who she chooses, or they could go the really sneaky route of showing us, 3 months down the line and Sophie with Finley, Sophie with Danny, or Sophie by herself, and then they work backwards and give us flashbacks to show what happened that day in the airport and the 3 or whatever it is months afterwards. If Sophie goes to Danny, I think the beginning half of the season will play out with Sophie still wrestling with her feelings for Finley, and then of course I think Alice's show will probably come back, because I think it would be too much change if Bette isn't going back to the same thing. Shane has obviously got Dana's but not, working anywhere else anymore, and then it would just be a major shake-up. Maybe that's what they want, because the first season they didn't know whether they were going to get many more episodes or what was going to happen, so this could be kind of a soft reset. But I think with Bette we're going to see a lot more, and I'll talk about obviously Bette in a minute. So I think that Alice's show will come back, Sophie and Finley will be working together, and obviously if she's with Danny, that's going to create a really, awkward atmosphere. And so we could have Sophie and Finley going back to work and then them working back through flashback, showing us what happened. The L Word isn't too big on flashbacks. We only ever have got a handful of them. So I don't think that is necessarily going to be the case. But also, if Sophie does choose Finley, then we will get that kind of divide between the newbies where Danny and Micah are obviously the closer friends, with them having dated before, and then Sophie and Finley would be together, and because they were living in the house, you might have a situation where Sophie and Finley have moved out, or Danny and Micah have moved out. So I think you'll see more of Danny and Micah pairing off as friends if Sophie and Finley are a thing and together. And it'll also be interesting to see what Danny is doing career-wise. Will she go back to work for her dad? Will she go with Bette like James used to do wherever Bette's gone? But as I have to make a prediction, my bet is going to be Sophie is going to the airport to meet Finley. So with Sophie going to meet Finley, we may end up in a situation similar to how Bette and Tina were in season 2, where Bette is, kind of going down this downward spiral, and we'll probably see Danny, going out, trying to meet lots of girls, throwing herself into a new job, whatever she's done, whether it be with Bette or not. I would prefer to see her working for Bette, because I do like the kind of mentor-mentee relationship they have going, but we don't know where Bette is going work-wise yet. With Finley, I do hope we get to see a lot more behind, they kind of gave us a little tease of what she was like with her family, and obviously there's some major rifts there, and also Finley was like going to be in the Olympics, or was in the Olympics. They never really made it that clear for swimming, so I'd really like to see more of Finley's past and everyone's past, because I feel like so many people, including the OGs, we didn't get a lot of their background flourished out or anything. It was very surface level stuff, so I definitely would like to see more of Finley. And obviously she does have an issue with drink as well, so I would really like to get to know a bit more what's going on there. And then we could have kind of Tess with Finley also helping her out a bit, so I think that would be interesting, because Tess will definitely be back for season 2 as well, which is good news because she was a new character I liked as well. And we'll also see Gigi back for season 2, and Angie's girlfriend will be back as well for season 2. With Micah, I mean, I hope that we get some answers with Jose. Micah was a character that they really didn't do a lot with the first season. A lot of people just didn't really get to know him, so I think that it would be better to flesh the character of Micah out, bring him in as Danny's like person that she leans on if Sophie and Finley have gone off, and get to know Micah a bit more that way. And then I think if we knew Micah a bit more deeply, people would be more interested in the whole storyline going on with Jose and his husband. And I think that's going to be a big storyline for Micah anyway. So it makes sense that if you're giving a character a big storyline like that, let your viewers know him a bit better, so that we go in and really care about what happens to Micah in this relationship. Another thing someone asked in my live last night, and I have Brittany to thank for answering this. One of the viewers was saying, do you think that they will show COVID in the season? And Marja, who's the showrunner, has said no. Like, I think the direct quote was, no one wants to see Bette Porter with a mask on, which is true. I mean, I think that we're all living enough. I mean, again, I'm very lucky where I live and we don't have COVID. My life is completely normal. We don't have any restrictions, but I think in the rest of the world, everyone is living day to day with this pandemic, that they would like to escape into the L word for an hour. So I'm glad to see they won't be bringing COVID into the show. Now on to our OGs, all my favourites, and Shane. Shane has been left in a lonely place at the end of the first season. Kiara's gone. I'm hesitant to say whether the actress or Kiara's the character will be back. I definitely don't see it in the first half of the season. Maybe they'll bring her back for an episode or 2 or the season finale, but I just can't imagine her coming back anytime soon. And Shane has ended up with the dog, of course, so I really hope that the dog does return. I think that a lot of other fans are hoping for that too. And Shane, she's bought Dana's, she's sold all of her hair salons and everything like that, and it's clear she has made a hell of a fortune. So I think that Shane will see her this season growing Dana's, making it more like The Planet, where we'll have at least a scene or 2 every episode, and then we'll see those other characters like Tess and the manager being brought into the wider group, so we'll get to know them more, and maybe they'll have a bit more interaction with like Alice and Bette and things. So it'll be good if they bring those characters back, bring them into the group, and we get to know them a bit better this season. I'm tempted to say that Shane may go back to her old ways, and we'll see her just dating a lot of people this season and hooking up a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what path she goes down. I don't see her jumping straight into a long-term relationship, having just now obviously accepted that her marriage is over. So I think we will get a bit more of the Shane that we're used to in season 2. On to Alice. I really think that they will have Alice keep her show because, one, it's a good central thing that kind of holds a lot of the OGs and the new characters together, like Alice at the center, and being it hooks Alice, Bette and Shane in together, and then obviously Sophie and Finley work for her, and then obviously Sophie is dating Danny, so that brings everybody kind of in together without, otherwise there's just the Bette and Danny link, and since Bette has obviously lost the election, Danny probably isn't going to work for her anymore, so it's hard for them to bring the OGs and the new characters together without that link of Alice's show. And I also think that just people really enjoyed seeing Alice having her show. And another reason is all of the guest actors and things, it's a really easy way for them to bring cool guest stars on. We had Megan Rapinoe and Roxanne Gay, and of course they did try and get Kamala Harris, so that was a really cool way for them to be able to bring guest stars in, and I think that they'll want to continue that in season 2. Obviously, looking at Alice and her relationship, will Alice and Nat last? I don't know. I mean, I really prefer Gigi. She was my favourite new character, so I would really like to see her and Alice together. I think that they make more sense, but I don't see the Nat character going anywhere. I think that she will be on the show next season, the same way she was in the first season. But it will be interesting to see how their relationship goes when, the appeal of like the getting together and everything has kind of calmed down a bit. And with Alice, I would really like to know what actually happened with her and Tasha, but then again, there's so many things I would like to know about what has gone on in the past 10 years. On to my favourite character, Bette, and I will hook into the conversation about Angie and Tina as well. So I think that Angie and her girlfriend, I said this in my live last night too, that they will be together still. I mean, Angie seems to have kind of a good level head. She's quite mature, so I don't see them really having any major issues, and we'll see, Angie just growing up a bit more and maybe what she's going to do college, university wise, so that will be an interesting aspect too, like whether she's going to stay around Bette or go somewhere really far away, and what she's thinking about doing. Now, as I was saying before, Bette has lost the election, so what is she going to do? I mean, the character of Bette from the original show too, her job and career has always been such a huge part of her character. We've always seen, big aspects of Bette's job, like Shane, that relationship part of Shane was so much, but you didn't really see a ton of Shane's job. But Bette, even some of the people she worked with, like James and Helena Peabody and all these other people, like Bette's, career and work world was always very much in the show and a central part of it. So I think whatever career Bette goes into now, that they will, again, like the political stuff and like the art stuff and the university stuff, that it will be, a big part of the show, and we'll meet some new characters that way too. I'm tempted to say maybe she'll go back into the art world, but also I had have a hard time thinking that she will just finish off with politics. Like, she might start trying to get into politics a different way, or even start working for a particular cause. I can't really see her going and working for someone else, so it would be maybe as some sort of consultant, or even working for another museum or university or something again. Now, from the relationship side of Bette, I mean, are we going to get Laurel Holloman back next season? That's the big question. All signs point to yes. I honestly think she will be back for season 2. Laurel said it, Jennifer Beals has said it, everyone on the show has said we're going to try and get Laurel back for as much time as she'll give us. How much time is anyone's guess. I mean, will she be back for 10 episodes? I really don't think so. I wish so, but I just don't think that she has that kind of time. I mean, she has a lot going on with her art career, and she has a lot of shows. She has one in LA at the moment, and next year in July she has one in London. So it just really comes down to her schedule, and I hope that however much time we do get with Laurel, that they use it really wisely, that we get at least one scene with Bette, Tina, Shane and Alice. Like, I really want an OG scene, and I know what a huge percentage of the audience wants is obviously Bette and Tina back together. Like, I know that's not some people's cup of tea, and that's completely fine, but there is a big portion of the audience who wants that, and we will just have to wait and see what they do, because I know that the new showrunner is not super keen on getting them back together. And I also think them trying to give this rationale of Tina finding herself again, it was a hard pill to swallow, because we already did this back in season 4 and 5. So I just hope that there's a bit more of a realistic reason as to why they didn't work. I would love to get some more information on what's gone on, or even, did they go to New York? What happened to the other kid they were going to have? What happened to Tina's career? If they did go to New York, when did they split up? Why did they come back to LA? I need some more answers, and I hope that I get them in season 2. Bottom line is, I think it's a lot more likely that we'll get Laurel for 3 to 4 episodes. I don't think we'll get her for more than half of the season, and it will be really interesting to see how they approach it. Like, from her first episode, will they be back in LA, moved in somewhere, and kind of, all socially seeing each other, like with Alice, Shane and Bette and Tina? And I know one of the huge questions that's gone on since the end of season 1 is, who will they cast as Carrie? Which, that will be really interesting. I mean, we were talking about that in the very beginning of my live yesterday, and I think it's going to be interesting. I personally want someone who is total opposite to Bette. I think that would make it really interesting, really different. Some people think they're going to make her very, very similar to Bette, but it will be interesting no matter who they pick. And also if they go with, a completely new face, a new actress, or someone quite they're not going to get someone like Sarah Paulson, but I think how the audience will react to whomever is cast as Carrie, it will be very interesting to see what happens. Obviously, I would really like to say that I hope by the end of season 2 that they're back together, but just with the way interview questions have been answered, the way the writing has been and things, I do not know. The only kind of shred of hope I'm hanging on to is Jennifer Beals clearly is a Bette and Tina fan, as is Laurel Holman, and Jennifer Beals is an executive producer, so I'm kind of putting my hopes in her hands and hope that, she uses her power and does the right thing, but time will tell, that's for sure. As we start getting filming done and maybe even get our first trailer, I think that we may get an early trailer like the end of January, maybe the beginning of February, but I'd love to see anything at all that's showing. They're filming and they're working hard, so I will definitely, once a trailer drops, we'll do a live and react to it together. And as they get a little bit more filming done, we'll be getting some hopefully news behind the scenes, interviews will start being done, so we'll be able to get a few more thoughts and predictions out then. But if you have any thoughts, comments, predictions, let me know down in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you're notified every time I post a new video and when I go live. And also don't forget to follow me on social media to keep up with everything L Word related in between videos. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am going to do a live every week. I absolutely loved it yesterday. It was so much fun. This coming week, I won't be able to do it on the Friday because I have plans. I put a poll on my Twitter, so go and vote on the poll for the best day that you would like to do. It looks like Saturday is going to win, so I think a weekend day would be good because it makes it a little bit easier for everyone time zone wise, so it's not in the middle of a work day for some people. Last time the live was kind of just us chatting and me answering questions and talking, but I will do some content this time and show some videos and things. I mean, as time goes on and more information from the L Word and trailers and stuff comes out, anytime that something drops, I'll do a live that day so that we can watch the trailer and react together. But if there's any like videos, like L Word videos, or even any news or things that you want to bring to the live, totally do, and we can watch it or talk about it. This week, the lesbian holiday movie, Happiest Season, comes out on Hulu on the 25th. So I will definitely be doing a review of that also this week. And in the lives, I was doing a bit more research about lives and everything. I am going to turn the super chat function on next week. And if there is any super chats or anything like that, I was thinking about doing some sort of donation to an LGBTQ charity. So if anybody has any recommendations for whichever ones, I mean, I'm sure it won't be like a big thing, but if there's any LGBTQ charities that you know of, please let me know, and especially like Christmas and stuff, as I'll put all the donations and then something from myself towards the charity, so that would be good too. Also, there's a new Tibette group on Facebook if anyone wants to join. It's run by some really great people. It's Tibette Legacy, so if you are a Tibette fan, definitely stop by and have a chat with us there. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you're all taking care of yourselves, staying safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!